Hi everyone, it's Jessica and this is VEDA Day 23. Today I want to talk about the importance of seeking out the people or experiences that really refuel your soul. And this comes from a conversation that I had with a wonderful teacher friend of mine last night. Her school is actually just down the street from the school that I taught in, and I really enjoy spending time with her. I feel so fortunate to know her and to have known her for the last 3 years. I've known her since I was in the classroom as a teacher, and it's interesting because we've both had, in a lot of ways, very different journeys and very separate journeys, but also very similar paths and journeys. And it's so nice to support each other and to just have been there together through these journeys. And I think we both are sort of at a turning point in our careers and in our paths. And it was just so lovely to spend time with her. And it really helped me to remember why I feel so dedicated and so committed to the district that I work, and why that is my home and my district. And those are my kids and my families who I serve. And I so appreciate the way that she has dedicated herself so selflessly to these same students and their families. And even though I taught elementary and she teaches high school, it's just fun to share stories. I love being able to kind of go back to that time in the classroom. And, it's not in a PD. Sometimes I don't like talking too much about my teaching experience or, stories from my teaching when I'm presenting or facilitating a professional learning opportunity with people, because that was a couple of years ago. And, I want to keep it about the attendees and their stories and their experiences. And, I'm not in a classroom anymore, and I don't have that really strong, immediate, story or sense of what it is like to be in a classroom anymore, because I'm not in a classroom anymore. So it's just nice to have these casual conversations with her and just remember and just, tell stories and share what it's like, because even though we have two separate, very different groups of kids and age levels, when she talks about her kids, those are my kids. And when I talk about my kids, those are her kids. And there's just something that, we both feel really committed to those communities in that neighborhood. And it's just really lovely to listen to her talk about her journey so far as a teacher. And she's just about to embark on something very exciting. I'm able to kind of share my experience in doing something very different from teaching, and, help her to sort of process some of the things that she's thinking about. Because I think as teachers, that's our identity. And there's a lot of ourselves wrapped up in what it means to be a teacher. And when you transition to a different role, it can be very different. And, one of the things that she said that I keep thinking about is, she said, people sometimes say to me, well, what could you have done differently so that you didn't, burn out or need to leave the classroom at this point? And as soon as she says that, I think about it too, and I'm like, nothing. I wouldn't change anything. There is nothing about my experience that I would change. And, for me personally, I did burn out very much in the classroom. And I knew that I needed to leave, partly because I wanted to make a different kind of impact, and I wanted to be able to help change the system that I felt was broken and needed a teacher's voice, and needed my students' voices, and needed my colleagues' voices. I really felt strongly about representing, those perspectives, and also just being a conduit, so that I, as much as possible, I don't like to speak for those kids or for those teachers. I want them to speak for themselves. But someone has to advocate. Someone has to step up in a meeting, when making decisions. Someone has to be there to say, have we talked to kids? Have we talked to teachers? Let me connect you with some people you can talk to so that you can get their perspectives. And, last resort, just to be there to advocate and say, well, teachers might be feeling this, and this. So, it's one of those things where I wouldn't change anything, because every single experience that I had, even though it was hard, and yeah, it killed me. It just about killed me. And it took me a long time to process and work through all of the emotional and mental toll that it took on me to be a teacher. But I wouldn't change any second of it at all. All of the minutes and probably hours that I sat on the floor of my classroom or my friend's classroom across the hall and just cried and felt lost, or was so angry or so frustrated or so, just confused about how do I reach this student, or how do I make this better, or how can I be a better teacher? All of the grading and the hours and hours and hours I spent planning and gathering maker supplies for my kids and craft supplies, and I wouldn't change any second of it, because every single minute of that has gotten me to this point. And that's one of the reasons I think that I feel so passionate about my district, and I feel so committed to those kids, because those are my kids. And I was talking with my team last week, and we were discussing just some things about our district and our kids and our teachers who we serve. And something just really hit me really hard, that, I have had a really great education, and I have a lot of privileges right now at this point, with a master's degree in education and a lot of different jobs and experiences and things on my resume. And I have this amazing PLN and this awesome network of people. I have a lot of opportunities now that I wouldn't have had if I didn't have a great foundation and really strong teachers and a wonderful education. And so I have choices now, and I get to exercise my choice to take different opportunities, but my kids don't have that option. My students, they get up in the morning and they have one choice, and they have one school that they get to go to, and they have one choice of which teacher. Like, they don't get to pick. You know, at the end of the day, they're not making those choices. They don't get to choose. They get up in the morning, they go to school, and whoever is sitting in front of them is who's sitting in front of them. And I want them to have amazing teachers who don't burn out and who can stay in the classroom and who can be present with them every day and focus on teaching, not on all of the administrivia and other stuff that teachers and school leaders have to deal with. I want them to have a strong community and a really great culture of learning and risk-taking and, you know, a growth mindset in their schools. But right now we're not there. Our schools are not there, and a lot of our classrooms aren't there. And I want them to be. I want that for kids, and I want that for teachers, and I want that for school leaders. And so that's why I feel so committed to those families and those students, because they deserve to have the same choice that I have right now sitting here today as someone who had a great education and who had lots of opportunities and could do a lot of different things or take a lot of different paths in my life. I want them to have that too, and to feel empowered and to feel like they can create what they need to, the opportunities that they need to be not just able to, you know, pay the bills, but be able to be happy and enjoy their work and continue to learn and grow and be great people and contribute, give back to their communities. So it was so nice to talk to her last night and share those experiences. And, you know, I'm always so energized by her, but she also rekindles for me in a way that, you know, when I talk to other people, it feels like I'm sitting on the other side of the table and it's me sharing my experience and sort of trying to explain myself. I don't have to explain myself with her. We have this thing where it really, it's like we're sitting on the same side of the table, because we have, even though our stories are very different, we also have the same story. And that's what's so nice about it. It really reminds me why I care so much about, you know, really giving back and helping our community and making sure that my district is a wonderful place to teach and to learn every day, every morning when those kids and teachers get up and walk into their schools. So it was just really nice to talk to her. And, you know, it helped me remember why I got into teaching. It helped me remember what I was thinking and feeling when I left my classroom and the commitments that I made. But it also helped me to feel sort of rededicated to my district and to, I don't know, it's like it filled my energy reserves for a little bit longer to keep fighting the good fight. And it also reminded me that it's important to seek out the people and the conversations and the experiences that you need to refuel so that you can keep fighting the good fight. Because I'm not going to lie, it's hard. It's a hard fight to fight. It's hard if you're a teacher. It's hard if you're, you know, an advocate for teachers and school leaders. It's hard if you're a principal. It's really hard, but it's also hard if you are part of the system. You know, when I left the classroom, I felt like I was becoming one of those other people, you know, the people in the ivory tower who make the decisions without thinking about what teachers want. And now that I'm sort of on the other side, it's so much harder than I expected. And a lot of times it's hard to push for what you really believe in. And sometimes you can kind of get lost. You can kind of lose yourself and lose what's really important. And, you know, you can feel that discord, but you're not quite sure how to fix it. And for me, it's conversations like this with amazing teachers who remind me why I'm fighting the good fight and that it's a really worthwhile fight to be getting up every morning for. So I just wanted to, you know, say thank you for a wonderful conversation and a wonderful rekindling of my soul and my passion as an educator. And I hope that all of you will seek out a person or a conversation or an experience that will feed your soul very soon, because especially if you're an educator, this is a hard time of year, but it's also just a hard kind of phase of education that we're in right now, and it can be really difficult to get up every morning and fight the good fight. So thank you for doing that, and I hope that everybody is doing well, and I'll talk to you all tomorrow.